Hey everybody, I'm Mike the Man, and you're watching Case Closing. And today I'm going to move forward with the well, Julia Turner. Thank you, incredible work you have done, and you have sent me several timestamps from Clutched and Pearls. That's Justin Clutched and Pearls, formerly known as Justin for All. And the name of the video is From Passion Posts to a Public Fallout. What happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan? So there seems to be a multitude of interviews I had been searching for, or rather clips from different interviews where Daniel has been examined. And I mean, Daniel has given statements. Daniel Martell, the I will call him stepfather. He is the partner of Malaya. And it doesn't matter to me if they are common law married or just hooking up. The fact of the matter is they've been together for 3 years, meaning he was the head of the household, if you want to see it in such a patriarchal, misogynistic way, as some may put it, but he was the male in the family, sort of like the dad or the stepdad. So to me, it's not really important what the relationship status was, because him and the mother of Jack and Lily lived together. And they have done so since Jack, now 4, was at the age of 1, and Lily was at the age of 3. So to them, he was a stepfather, I think, if not more or less a father. I'm not sure if they had contact with Cody, the biological father. Some of you have said he's in prison now. And from what I understand, it turned out that he is no longer in prison. So, yeah, dysfunction is sort of like, well, I'm not going to get too much into that because I don't want any preconceived notions. Whenever we examine any statements, we do not want to ever get to the point where we say they must have done it. Which, by the way, also goes for the family of Summer Wells, where I actually think there was an accident that she covered up. And that doesn't take away from what Don Wells's stepsister alleged, which I haven't heard about anything about since. But yeah, there is nothing good to say really about these people that I have heard. Except I'm going to say that when the interview, Chris McDonough had the interview at the so-called waterhole, she seemed melancholic, and that seemed to be the place where the accident took place, where she stated time stood still. That's how she felt. And I believe that by the time Summer Wells got home and she was in the backseat of the car, and her mother said she had to, well, she was trying to get her up, and she got up like nothing. Like nothing. That's her exact verbiage. I believe Summer Wells wasn't able to get up because I believe she hit her head on rocks at the waterhole. And by the time that, well, eventually, either on the way home or while in the backseat of her car at home, actually passed away. So the case of Sebastian Rogers, I believe, has come to a standstill, and I refuse to um, go any further until, well, I will probably go further. I mean, I have a couple of things actually on the back burner that I wanted to get to, but I want to make sure everybody understands that, in my opinion, nothing will move forward until law enforcement looks in the right direction, which is, in my opinion, the Bauer success. And in my opinion, they will never do it until Seth Rogers puts pressure on them. And what I mean is unapologetically, meaning if he talks about a claim that Kathy Bowersox was seen at Worshams that morning close to the house of Sebastian, he cannot allow himself to be shouted down by Chris Foot and then give up on the topic, which is what he usually does. Because neither Chris Foot nor his mama have been able to reliably deny that she was there. Chris Foot gave a whole big spiel about it and yelled at Seth, used profanity, all of this. And guess what? He never said my mom wasn't there. And Kathy Bowersox, I just read it. I just read her reply to the subject matter. And guess what? There is also no reliable denial. And since you guys are here now, let me see if I can pull this up real quickly, because I think it's very, very important to remember what we have been talking about here in terms of we need a reliable denial. When Daniel talks about crazy accusations from people online, which he seems, Daniel Martel, which he seems so extremely worried about, well, don't tell me don't call these accusations crazy. Tell me they are false. Give me a reliable denial stating these are false accusations. And of course, now I cannot find the. It doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, here we go. Well, Kirsty Bauer sucks. I will just read it to you people, to you wonderful people, to you guys. You are the exact type of people that are keeping this child from being located. This child. Located. Not found, located. I believe he is. They got rid of his body, potentially, in my opinion, somewhere very close to, if not on, one of the properties of the extended family of Christopher Proudfoot. You locate a dead body. You want to spew lies about people to fit your small-minded narrative. Accusations on the offense, very much like Chris Foot, preeminent. I will insult you before you get a chance to ask another question, trying to shout you down. Let's see if she can give us a denial that he was at Worshams. If you can provide credible witnesses that claim they saw me at Worshams, then do it. Otherwise, shut up. Yeah, well, where are the witnesses? Have they been intimidated? It seems that a lot of the footage that's getting leaked, I don't know where it's being leaked to, but it seems like these neighbors are all terrified. Absolutely terrified. They may reach out, who knows to whom. Is it Justin or who knows whom they reach out to? But they're reaching out to somebody because they are like, oh, we're shaking because Chris Foot is such a bad guy, such a mean guy. And maybe he'll kick my ass. And so I just have to see who's online and who wants to help. So they're leaking things, I believe. By the way, for the last time, my location is known. Is known. Yes, right now your location is known. I guess. You're on Facebook and probably doing it from home or from work or wherever you are. My location is known. And it was not Worsham's. Known by whom? She didn't say police knows where I was. Police knows my location that particular morning, the early morning hours of Monday, February 26th, 2024. She does not say that. My location is known and it was not Worsham's. Known by whom? If your intent is to actually find this child, the second time she said, this child, please use your efforts in a constructive manner instead of spreading lies. Yeah, you didn't say that this was a lie. That's not the same when you say, please use your efforts in a constructive manner instead of spreading lies. Which lie are you referring to? Tell me reliably that it was that you were not at Worsham's at that particular time. Crisford also wouldn't deny it. He was not able to. He called it a rumor. That's easy to label. The same way that Daniel Martel is telling us, well, people online making crazy accusations. Labels are cowardly and labels are there to obfuscate and to lead you away and sidetrack you and try to make you feel guilty about asking a question. This is not a rumor. There is nothing wrong with speculations. Actually, speculations are necessary in criminal investigations. Now, you don't want to be a theorist and hold on to something and have confirmation bias and try to prove everybody wrong and argue about whatever theory you might have. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of people are doing. But, that's why also there isn't that much movement here because people are getting hung up arguing meaninglessly. They're wrong and the other side is wrong, in some parts at least. And so it's wrong about wrong. And as long as somebody's wrong, it's easy to attack and easy to do it Chris Foot style, where he says, well, my family never, how can you say my family owns a funeral home? You guys are, I'm pissed. Well, guess what? There were many, many other accusations also that he refused to go into. So please, people, do not make the mistake that I used to make, trying to so-called convert those that you may have known for a very long time, who are not walking away from their bias. Be very careful. Spend your energy on figuring out what the truth is, and then let the truth speak for itself. Here we go. Justin.
Home. Do you drive an hour one way every day?
Okay, so Justin is now getting into the area of how do you make a living out there in the boonies?
Or longer to get to work? Because I would be moving.
Yeah, me too.
Charles' work. Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's not too much downtime here because I know that the good statements are coming. I just don't want to jump from timestamp to timestamp, and I rather do it in a continuum and pick like the right area to listen to, because many times I do detect something I didn't expect to when I do that. Because whenever somebody like Justin, there's going to be downtime, even with what's her name, Plunder. But then it seems to me whenever the flow kicks in, it keeps on flowing. And so I hope I caught a good flow right here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of real jobs at all. Right. Was the whole family sick, including the parents? He just said, or they
Uh,
just said Lilly had a cough. Why would either parent be sleeping with 3 small children?
what?
Um,
Oh my
I
God.
agree.
No, never
agree.
mind. People, yeah, listen. I don't know why people ask these types of questions that don't lead anywhere. I think they just want to ask something. They just want to feel important. I have no idea, man. But I wouldn't unless I have at least.
That I find interesting is he's talking about, check the border and all of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Remember the New Brunswick border? Something about that. That's what Daniel Martel kept mentioning.
I also understand if you don't know, your mind is going to go wild. But also, if he actually or mom actually thinks that someone took them,
Mm-hmm.
why are they not speaking to that person?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you took Lily and Jack, please bring them home. Right? Or drop them off in a safe location.
Exactly.
Something like that. Right? No questions asked. Just make sure they're safe.
And that is a good question. And I would hate to think that somebody would not do that out of fear for themselves or, losing the very young child, Meadow, and sacrificing their own children and saying, okay, I cut my losses here, but I want to keep. No, this makes no sense, right? That wouldn't make any sense. As of now, he said Jack was out. And I believe something really bad happened to Jack. And Lily kept coming into the room to let them know, probably while they had company. Some have called it a drug party. I am not sure how to label it or if I even need to label it, but I do believe that the neighbor was correct when they mentioned there was one car on the main road and other cars inside on the property. So I would not call that a party. It would be a very depressing party if that's what you call a party, but I do believe that they had company and it was not good company. And something happened to Jack. I believe that because it's his language. And Jack was out. Lily came into the room multiple times. Not our room, but into the room many times. Remember, they're talking your head off. I seen her that morning. What morning? And Jack was out. So I consider the possibility that something bad happened to Jack, but the question is, what about Lily? And I would like to know about the boot prints that were found 10 feet away from the yard. Do they match Lily's shoe size? Because it could indicate that Lily was walked out to a vehicle and Jack was carried out. Maybe his body was carried out. But what about Lily? If she is still alive, what happened to her? Could it be that they were given to somebody out of fear that maybe this kid took who knows, a fentanyl pill, took something and passed away? And Lily witnessed it, and she kept coming into the room and said, hey, Jack is sick. His throat, something with his throat. He's screaming. His throat. Remember when Daniel talked about he was screaming until his throat is hurting? This is a possibility, people, that I consider at this particular time. And I'm going to scan over a few more statements until I get to the point where I zoom in on one and detail it, get right in there. But it's important for me. The most important part of statement analysis, in my opinion, is the ability to find the right statements. And thank God I have wonderful people like Julia Turner who are getting better and better at intuitively figuring or letting the right statements hit her.
We just want our kids back.
Come on,
You
Justin.
can cross the border with not in the United States. No, you can't anymore. You used to be able to, but not anymore.
Right?
Not anymore. I go to Canada all the time. CT, well, not all the time, but fairly regularly. Justin, I don't really follow true crime. Do you know of any recent cases where two children were abducted at the same time? Seems very unlikely.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. There's an article that Julia that you sent to me. It is unlikely that two children disappear together. Yeah, I don't disbelieve it. I haven't had time to look at the article yet. But this is a good point right here.
Not recently. No. Mm-mm. No.
Not ever. I mean, when? If you have an example, by any means, don't be shy. Let me know if there's something. Anytime I miss something, you think I missed something, even if it's wrong, don't worry about it. Just hit me with it because I think that as a expanding team, so to speak, we will be able to figure out a lot more and a lot more other cases that have not yet been solved. I'm only one person.
No. It's just, I mean, out of all like the missing persons cases, less than 2% is abduction, right? Of any sort.
Oh,
And
interesting. Yeah, I didn't know this. I knew it was small, but only 2% are abduction of the missing persons cases. You see, even though there's trafficking and all of that, yeah. I mean, by the way, I'm not sure actually if this is accurate, but yeah, let me go with it for now.
most of that, 97% of those abductions are family or someone
Right.
familiar with them.
Agreed. Yes, absolutely.
She said she texted me. Okay. Yep, we're going to cover that.
But then again, it can happen. I mean, look at all of these cases that are now being solved with DNA, where in the 70s and 1980s, like a 6-year-old girl wound up just disappearing. And it does happen, people. These types of people are driving around, possibly in your neighborhood. And if they get the opportunity to snatch a kid, they might. Which I think now is getting harder. I'm hoping it's getting less simply because there are cameras everywhere. So, it would be probably easier to catch them, at least get an idea what's the make of the car, possibly the license plate or partial license plate or something like that.
Trishy, yeah, thank you so much.
Trishy.
Okay, I got you. All right, now I want to show you this little clip of Daniel, and then we're going to get to some stuff here.
Go for it, bro.
This is another little clip
I've probably seen
in a
it.
different interview that Daniel did. And this is the thing. You've got to give Daniel, I give Daniel more credit than I do.
I don't. He's doing a better job covering up the same thing, in my opinion. And who is more guilty, her or him? As far as I'm concerned at this time, it is equal. At least according to these statements. Something happened to Jack. And Lily was out of her mind. That's why he kept saying they're like best friends. They do everything together, meaning Jack was hurt and Lily was out of her mind. She was inconsolable. It would have been impossible to shut her up because I am thinking that this 6-year-old girl, knowing how crazy allegedly the parents were, was highly protective of her baby brother people. I think she was somebody who likely exercised more of a maternal instinct than the mother. And that can easily happen. Children are amazing. Where the parents lack, the children pack. They see there is a need. And she may have suffered there, but she felt empathy for her baby brother and wanted to protect him from experiencing who knows whatever she may have experienced. I do believe that. And I'm going to run for now with this analysis that I've done the last time until something else comes that leads me into a different direction. This is now the path I'm going to follow, people. So if you haven't done so, well, anyways, you know you know what to do. Let's continue here.
You more credit than I do
No,
Mom
not me. Not
personally,
me.
because he's the only one speaking for them.
Everybody has a different pattern. Some people, when they feel guilty or want to cover something up, they just shut up. They are terrified of opening their mouth. They are afraid that real emotions will come out. They are afraid they're going to break down and hysterically cry and spill the beans, which can happen. Everybody is human. And some people know their limits more than others. Daniel seems more like the type of person that's very talkative, but may also lose his composure eventually. So he is covering it up, in my opinion, by going out there and being seen doing stuff. Because in his mind, he's thinking, well, Daniel is busy, he can't have anything to do with it. The same way Justin gives him credit. I believe that's something that Daniel has been doing his whole life. We develop our patterns early on in our childhood whenever we gotten into trouble, and we learn how to get ourselves out of trouble. And different people do it in a different manner. Some people are just silent until the teachers forget about it. Daniel is different. I think that he is doing all of this, including the crying, in order to lead people away from looking at him. He doesn't want people to look at him. That's my opinion. What you say?
Oh,
just made it.
God.
What happened, Justin? Tell me. I'm on edge.
She is late.
Who's late?
Lady for Justice, to the office, please. You're being paged. Lady for Justice, to the office, please. You're being paged.
What?
We need a late slip for a Lady for Justice.
Oh my God. I thought it was.
Darling. The way she screams, I can't believe they didn't hear her.
Yes. Yes, the way, remember how she screamed at the birthday party? I believe that exactly that scream was the scream that she had when she came into the room multiple times to say, my baby brother is hurt. My baby brother is not breathing, something like that. And coming to think of it, it may have been her who was screaming until she couldn't scream anymore. And maybe she said, my throat hurts. Remember the leakage in the Susan Smith statement about the man she claimed took her children, and the similarity to the force of water that actually took their life. There is leakage, people. waist deep in water, screaming until my throat hurt. In my opinion, that is leakage. And the fact of the matter that so many of you have pointed out that there's something about it that sticks out to you, the same way bulldozing him down with hugs, as Katie Proudfoot said about Sebastian, it stands out as unnatural. It broke the flow. And you realize there's something wrong with it. And I do believe there's experiential memory forcing its way in there because it was a very intense experience. So while he is giving a spiel about the same thing that was well rehearsed, almost the same statements like Malaya made, he keeps thinking about what actually happened. And he's holding on to certain parts in order to not lose track. We are human. No matter what we have done, we still are human beings, people. And we remember.
You would think. Oh, hold on. Turn the volume on.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
That on you?
That's not just on me.
Flying in someone to do a polygraph test, is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for.
On everyone who?
Now, they are Daniel May.
On everyone who? Who else is getting the polygraph? Everyone? Who's everyone? Not me. Who's getting a polygraph other than you? Go for it, Justin.
Have already taken the polygraph, but I know that they're supposed to give him. But I know that they're supposed to give him a polygraph this week sometimes, and I thought it was interesting how he added right there.
By the way, are we going to hear the results? I hope. No, I don't think so. I'm not holding my breath, people.
Not just me, but everyone.
Who's everyone?
Not just me, but everyone. To me, that makes me feel like...
Yes? Give it to me.
That's probably the only thing that makes me look at him and be like, maybe he doesn't know something.
No.
But I don't see it. I think he has to know something.
Yes, he does.
If they didn't just walk out, I think both parents have to know.
I also need to tell you guys, volunteering Ted Bundy took a polygraph and passed. There are many so-called success stories about beating a polygraph. And there is a possibility that somebody who has something to hide is going to volunteer for it. Why? Because maybe the pressure is getting to them. These people live in a small area, everybody knows everybody. And maybe he is the type of person who cannot handle everybody looking at him in a different manner. And the possibility of being able to beat the polygraph can become more appealing than the consequences of refusing to take one.
Mom may have gotten mad and left when he asked for a polygraph. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe, yeah.
True, she was not a quiet child, and apparently neither was Jack. Allegedly, according to the bus driver, he'd yell, yep, throw the boot, yep. There were 2 boys in California wandered off, but later I think the parents were found guilty of doing something. Yeah, it's very, very rare for...
No, they didn't. I hope they're not talking about Orson and Oren, because they didn't wander off, but oh my God, come on, dude.
Conducted like that.
And these are the types of people that argue online, you know?
So early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone, clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and everything else.
Flying in someone to do a polygraph test.
And everything else, crazy accusations and everything else. Everything else, like when they get it right, when you read through all of this stuff, and all of a sudden you say, huh, how do they know? I think I just missed something here. And I'll be damned if I'm not able to find it. Come on.
This week sometimes. And I thought it was interesting how he added right there, not just me, but everyone.
Right.
Not just me, but everyone. To me, that makes me feel like that's probably the only thing that makes me look at him and be like, maybe he doesn't know something.
Okay, was it
But
about
I
the
don't see it. I
polygraph?
think-
It's possible that, oh yeah, her side of the family. Interesting. What about her? Her side of the family, does that include Malaya? Or do you only talk about her family and not her? What is Malaya thinking? And why haven't you appeared together in harmony? You're supposed to be united right now. No, something very drastic happened, people. And if anything, they probably blame each other, but the power of the blame is the blame most likely that Malaya puts on him because she is more obviously emotionally connected to her own children. And whatever happened is something that she will never be over, and she will never be able to look at Daniel Martel the same way that she has. He failed to protect, possibly in her opinion, as the man in the house. There's something that makes it impossible for her to even probably look at him, think about him, communicate with him at all. That is my opinion.
He has to know something. If they didn't just walk out, I think both parents have to know. Mom may have gotten mad and left when he asked for a polygraph. I don't know.
Could
True,
be.
she was not a quiet child, and apparently neither was Jack, allegedly.
Could be that she's like, I'm not taking no polygraph. But he's a different type of guy. He's like, okay, give it to me. I'm already running ahead of the helicopters and the drones, and I'm very steep and this and that. Give it to me. Give it to me. He cannot break this flow because he is afraid that people will say, what about a polygraph, dude? He doesn't want to be stopped. He's maybe the type of person that goes full speed ahead and then bashes his head against the wall. Not literally, but, who will keep going like the Energizer Bunny until he crashes. That seems to me like the type of person he is. And no, Justin, I don't believe the tears are real.
According to the bus driver, he'd yell, yep, throw the boot, yep.
Yep.
There were 2 boys in California wandered off.
Boat.
But later, I think the parents were found guilty of doing something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very, very rare for 2 to be abducted like that.
I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
The question is also what types of questions will be asked. Did you hurt your children? So if it is true, he may pass it if they ask the wrong questions. That's why statement analysis is extremely useful when it comes to polygraph examiners. And the examiners, if they are really good, they can do a very brief assessment and prepare themselves and know exactly what questions to ask. Like DeMarco, he basically asked the same question twice in different manners to make sure that no matter what type of language the subject is accustomed to and may use to wiggle himself out of the dilemma with. Like the Foot would say, it's an open book tree test. Katie probably taught him that. I doubt. But, exactly, he looked, well, I'm not going to get back into the Foot right now. I told you what needs to happen. Ugh, I'm disgusted with that case. Not with Sebastian, but everything else. So, this may be something I would be very happy. I would not only would I like to check the sliding door and test it myself, I would also love to see. Oh, did they have internet, by the way? Somebody told me they didn't have internet out there. Well, if they did, I would love to see his searches. And it always gets me that people still do all types of searches after they committed a crime, not thinking about that maybe police will get to that.
Think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making
Cool.
crazy accusations and
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
everything else.
Okay.
Flying in someone to do a polygraph test, is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for.
Something here. One second.
I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and
I like the fact that Justin actually rewinds it to listen again. Many times I want to skip over something, but I just can't, because I know if it's crucial and I overlook it, you see, like in the case of Patsy Ramsey, I didn't do it, John Ramsey didn't do it. A very short statement, which tells me who did it.
Side of the family doesn't believe me. Okay. Their side of the family doesn't believe me. That's
Right.
interesting. Okay. That's interesting.
It'll be
All
a few
right.
more minutes, people.
Now, here is
Daniel. Come on, baby.
another one. Let me find it right here.
Okay, hit me. Come on, Daniel. Ah.
I think another one. Let me find it right here. Right. What's the possibility party ever verified? No, it's not been verified. So I think we just have to put that in the speculation bucket, as it could have happened, but we just don't know.
pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack, with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white. It was white, strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods, that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack.
How do you know it would be brown now? Look at the emphasis on clothing. And he said the boots were right beside the door. When did you see them right beside the door? I believe when were about to get rid of the children, they were about to be transported out, I believe that's when. I talked about it in my last video. I'm not going to rehash it. But that's why the emphasis on the clothing, because I think that when the kids were gotten rid of, passed on to somebody, he focused on what he is going to take. He said, I know they took their boots, not wore their boots. Somebody took their boots. And who is they? He knows exactly what is missing from the house, and it is very important to him. The same, I seen her that morning and Jack was out. As soon as I seen they were gone, he watched them disappear, possibly in a car, and then they were gone. That's what I think happened. And this is twice. Gone and gone. Finished. Where did Jack and Lily go? I'm trying to figure this out. They could have gone this way, and okay, there are too many trees here. It's too dense. But here's a way that they could have walked through. So let me follow this. Okay, could they? You would be searching actively, close to the house, and step by step expanding, little by little. If you think they've only been gone for 20 minutes, a 4-year-old, how far can he go in 20 minutes? Give me a damn break. And you say they were gone. They couldn't have been gone far at all. But you already made up your mind. The kids are gone. Now, I don't know what happened to Lily. Is she alive? Do they know? Were they so terrified that something may have happened to Jack? And the cops finding out he got into their drugs? And Lily wouldn't shut up. She would scream until her throat hurt. Which is what he remembers now, by the way. They did everything together. They were like best friends. There was no Jack without Lily, and there was no Lily without Jack. And it impressed him, crazy to say, just how loyal she was to her baby brother. Maybe.
On it. I imagine now if they're in the woods, that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't.
Okay. Did you hear what he just said?
I don't see them carrying their backpack. They didn't carry their backpacks out. They were carried out for them. The shoes, at least Jack's shoes, I think were taken for him. I don't see them carrying their backpacks. You are right. They didn't.
Okay.
And the shoes were right there, and you noticed that they were right, the boots were right beside the door. And somebody took these boots to get rid of them, alongside everything else, including the children, in my opinion.
Okay. Did you hear what he just said? I don't see him carrying their backpack.
Who is there? Their backpack? Okay, interesting.
Listen to that again.
One more time.
On it. I imagine now if they're in the woods, that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them.
I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them.
Yes?
Now if they're in the woods, that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up on for that long after it got soaked from the very first day.
The very first day. I don't see them keeping a pull-up on. I don't know. Was the pull-up removed because when something happened to him, well, this is a thought I'm going to get more into later. And it's not a very pleasant subject matter to consider that a 4-year-old could have gotten into drugs and passed away. You see, that's the time when I actually prefer to do Quizfoot on Granny's Watching and just goof on that idiot instead of dealing with this. So I always know my limits and I know when to take a break, but let me see what else I'm going to be able to detect here.
On for that long after it got soaked from the very first day.
What did he say on the second part? I don't see them. No, the items that was found today has.
Okay, people, I'm going to take a quick break and I will be back. And to be honest with you, I hate to say it, I'm pretty amazed with how everything aligns now that I'm getting into it. And I want to say thank you to Justin for doing this. Bring this to, well, Julia, to bring this to my attention. And, you know, I have looked for I'm not very necessarily good at organizing. I zoom in on something and then I think, where was the other part? I need to get this. And then my mind is already flowing in one direction. So that's why I'm making the videos sometimes not 100% prepared, because I need to be mentally present in what I'm doing at this time. Everybody has a different style. But I'm thinking that what I did in my last one, called Daniel Martell Knows What Happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan, these statements all align with it. I'm looking for anything that goes against it. I'm trying to prove myself wrong nonstop. And when I can, that's when I realize, or that's when I am usually on the right track. So I think we're here on the right track. Please share my video, guys. I guess hit the like and pass it on. That's the best thing that you can do. Pass it on and leave me a comment, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you think, anything, even if it is something where you say, where you have a different thought than I do. As long as it's a thought, I welcome it. And I appreciate all of you watching me. I'm Mike the Man, and this is Case Closing.